we normalize cutting our moms off? Stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Haire. Today we are talking about Harlem season 3 episode 2. So we are going to go through pretty much, they didn't give us a lot in this episode. It was really short. It's mostly the Camille and Ian show. So I'll talk about, I guess, both of them for 5 minutes, and then we'll go into the overall review after. They didn't give us a lot for me to go through, but before I get to my minute mark so we can start talking, definitely make sure you guys are sharing. I have my shorts channel. Definitely check that one out. My goal is to get to 100 by at least March, 100 subscribers by at least March. We're already at 40,000 views. Thank you guys for watching, but we need you to subscribe and don't forget to share. So we're going to talk about Camille finding out that she's 12 weeks pregnant. So her being 12 weeks pregnant and her not knowing, I'm 50-50 about. So it turns out that she has a less than 5% chance of getting pregnant. So that's why she was basically carefree, which that's pretty much when you have, like, I know it's so corny, but that's pretty much when you be having kids, when you're not even thinking about it, or when you make a big purchase, or when you're 17 and have a college scholarship on the line. I don't know why. That's when the biggest time for fertility is. But basically she found out she's 12 weeks pregnant, and because she's a regular, she didn't catch it. Because I was like, mine is 28 days at 1 p.m. So how did she miss this? But she has a regular because she has PCOS. So she ends up telling Ian, thank God, because I thought she wasn't gonna tell him. I feel like men have rights as well. Like, this is their child too. Like, I feel like that's so, whenever I've heard stories and like, oh, well, I didn't tell the father, I was like, I feel like it's just, to me, I feel like it's a respect thing. Like, I would want to tell him. Okay. So she tells him, and basically he doesn't want to talk to her. And he was like, oh, I thought you had me blocked, which I'm just like, that's somebody who still cares, because he's being very petty. So basically, they want to try co-parenting it, and he's just like, oh, sweetheart, don't worry about it, da da da, blah blah. But I can't break it off with Portia. It's really real with us, blah blah. So she's going through a pros and baby versus no baby list. Baby versus no baby, like trying to see if she wants to have a kid or not, and it's leaning towards even. So basically it's half and half, which, like I said, like having a kid is not something you want to do that list on, because the cons are going to outweigh the pros. No sleep up, that's 20 right there. That's 20 right there. But she talks about her daughter, and her daughter's like, because of this, stroke of luck and blessings, that this is your only opportunity. This might be your only chance of having a child, naturally. So she calls her mom, and she was dreading it, which sucks, because, like, this is why I said at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of my thing, was that, like, sometimes we need to really just cut our moms off. Because so she calls her mom, and she's dreading it, because, like, to me, most regular people be like, oh my god, I get to tell my mom about this, but she's dreading it. So she calls her mom up, and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm expecting, blah blah. And so her mom's just like, oh, do you think if I sold them like mittens or whatever, blah blah, would they like it? Basically, she's basically nonchalant, and she was like, oh my god, I just told you I had a baby on the way, you're gonna ignore me. Like, classic. Like, her mom is what I call a classic covert narcissist, the worst. Basically, they like to gaslight you and everything. They're defensive. They like to slowly, basically, death by 1,000 cuts, pretty much. That's how they get you. And basically, she's gaslighting her. She's like emotionally unavailable, and she's like, oh, I hope when your daughter gets big, she doesn't criticize you. I was like, see, you was gonna have to get off my phone, because I already have a lot of stuff going on. But so it basically, and fast forwards, turns out that she's like, oh, I'm not gonna let fear keep me away, because Ian's aunt comes to her and is like, hey, Ian wasn't planned, but we made the best of the situation, and we aren't our parents. And then it also shows that when she said, oh, hey, congrats, Ian, you're a father, because she ends up deciding to keep the child. So basically, Portia has eggs saved to implant, so she wants to get pregnant as soon as possible. And then Angie, 2 seconds, she got the lead role in The Girls Trip, the musical. And then her, like I said, the country club Mike, he wants to have kids sooner rather than later, like right after getting married. And she's like, oh, it's like it's off the board, but is definitely something that I'm not thinking of doing right away, which to me is understandable, because, like, with women, when it comes to that type of showbiz, like, having a kid can deter, and deter your trajectory. So my overall review, first things first, let's talk about Camille and Ian. All right. My issue with them, I'm saying it like that, but my issue with them is the fact that I can't understand why they have his character written so, like, he's so sassy, like he's so sassy, like some of the stuff, like he acts like, oh, I thought I was blocked, how come you can't da da da, like I don't know, maybe because I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the person, because like I don't like my men say, I like mine very masculine, like I like someone who can tell me what to do but also treat me like a princess. It's complicated, but I personally, I don't get his appeal. I think that's what I was getting towards. I think I was getting towards that. I don't understand his appeal, because to me, get rid of Ian. What the? But basically, he's saying that he wants to co-parent, like Amber Rose and Wiz Khalifa. I was like, well, the reason why Amber Rose, first of all, you don't know everything that's going on in a relationship. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Amber Rose and Wiz Khalifa. Me personally, I feel like the reason why they're co-parent is because I feel like the person who Amber wants Wiz to be and the person who Wiz wants Amber to be do not exist. Okay, like sometimes you just make babies, but you're not good together. Like you don't have enough chemistry to have a child with this person, and their co-parenting situation, you don't know how long it took to get there as well. Like, cause like I said, like God ate when he said children are for marriage, I don't know specific verse, but he ate when he did that, because it makes it so much easier, because now, like, that's why with them saying, like, oh, we can just like him saying, oh, Ian saying, well, we can just co-parent. I was like, I know, but like, Portia just said she saved those eggs, so I said she's pregnant at the same time. Now you're gonna play eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which baby mama do I go? Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. So to me, I feel like it's scarier. It's scarier to me that so many people just do not they do not think it through, and they're just like, oh, you're gonna be able to. I was like, listen, one of the biggest lessons I learned about co-parenting, or just in general, is that was from Insecure. So there's this episode of Insecure, and Molly and Serena Jackson, basically, his wife was okay with him having an open relationship. So she was basically, the side chick, blah, blah. And then his son, I think his son or his daughter got sick. And he was like, oh, I got to go. And she was like, oh, so I'm always going to be second. I was like, yes. You're always going to be second to someone's child, especially when they're under a certain age. You're always going to be second. They're always going to put that child first. It is a parental instinct. Their child comes first. Supposed to come first. But I really feel like there is definitely... there's definitely going to be some worry there, but especially since they just broke it off. And like another thing too is just that like there's some magic in the placenta, child. I don't know, but once the baby comes out, I don't have anything else. Because I can have this. Like once the baby comes out and like the baby's there, I don't have a kid. But I'm just letting you know, just from what I've seen. But this is common sense, right? So let's say the baby comes out, like you're holding the baby, blah 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 blah, holding the baby. And then you look up, you see your man, and y'all have like a little, like, why do you think most relationships break off for 3 months? Because that's when the oxytocin ran out. Okay, like that's when the serotonin runs. Serotonin expiration date around 3 months, and then it's just like, actually, matter of fact, I don't like you. Like that's like when it runs out. I don't have the scientific proof, but I feel like that's why 3 months is usually around the time that most relationships break off, especially if they're not married and they don't really, not even if they're married, if they don't like this person. Like you have to truly not like a person to leave them when they're pregnant. Like you have to truly just despise this person. Like no humanity at all. Okay. So basically, she's saying, oh, well, what if we're going to be a side project? Why would you want that? Like you really care about Portia, which I think is cap. Portia is revenge, because I don't know anybody who can sit there and truly, they were just with the love of their life, about to get engaged to this person. And then 3 months later, and then after they break up, 3 months later, just like, oh, I found somebody and I fell for. I was like, your heart can't do that. I don't know any heart that can do that. Like, I don't know any heart. I really do not see you being in a relationship for that long, and then like after 3 months, oh my God, I'm over them. There's no way. Like there's no way. Okay. All right, so the next one I have is I have on here just for Angie. Me personally, like my reviews, I don't like that we didn't get a lot of her. Like that, like with her getting this role for the Girls Trip the musical. Y'all know Girls Trip. Girls Trip was with Jada Pinkett Smith and Regina Hall, Queen Latifah, and Tiffany Haddish. So with that movie, basically they turned it into a musical, and she's got the starring role as Tiffany Haddish's character based on the loud one. And she has that character or whatever role or blah blah, and so she ends up getting it. And I don't like how, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm watching the Cammy and Ian show. This is only episode 2. You know, we still got, this is only episode 2. We still have a couple of more. You got 6 more episodes to not make it the Cammy. Like, the next episode 3, I do not want to hear about Cammy and Ian. I don't. And then I'm gonna come to y'all next week with the review, because they only release them on Thursdays. I'm gonna come to y'all next week with the review and be like, you know what? They did it again. They did it. But yeah, I don't know. I personally, I feel like, I love this for Angie, because like she just went through so many weird roles, and like it was still funny to her gay friend. I think they dated for a little bit, and because he's bi, so her gay friend or whatever he presenting, I don't know, I don't want to judge, but basically they had dated and they were running lines back and forth. It was pretty funny because like in the previous seasons, she had dated him for a little bit. Like she basically she's been through her fair share of different just dating, you know, as you should, dating in your 20s, 30s, whatever, you know, going through different roles. And like with show business, like I don't know, maybe I'm blowing out of proportion, but like I like the fact I gotta do a T-Pain. Wait a minute. But I like the fact that she got this role. Like, even though it's small, like it's still the fact that like when you're in showbiz, all you need is one good yes. Like one good yes and your whole world. Like all you need is one good yes and your whole world can like your whole world can change overnight. Like for example, like that's Mufasa, Aaron Pierre. He was definitely mid-sized sedan in the movie Old, but no one cared. Because now I was like, now he's everywhere. All he did was let his facial hair grow in. He got a fade, and then like he's like rebrand, like one of the biggest rebrands I've ever seen in my life was Aaron Pierre. But with this one, like I like the fact that she got the role, but with him saying that, oh, you know, like once we get married, because he wants to, you know, Country Club Mike, he wants to get married off rip, and he's like, oh, you know, I want baby. He said, we're not gonna be too far behind Camille, and she's like, what you talking? And then she was like, it was like, oh, you know, with babies. But my thing, like with men, like Tay said it earlier, and she was basically saying how, you know, you got to make sure when you have this kid, you having it for yourself, because it always falls back on the woman. Like women are the default parent. I don't care what happens. I don't care what goes down. Women are the default parent. All right. Them kids is not going to come to you. They're going to come to their mama, and then they're going to be like, okay, my mom told me to ask you, can you tell me, father? You know, but, I don't know. I like the fact that she's pushing back. A lot of women are just like, oh, well, you know, this guy is, you know, I am a certain age. You know, I have on here the baby race. I like the fact that they highlighted the baby race, because I truly feel like there's like a quiet baby race that starts once you turn 28. I do. I feel like it starts when you turn 28 and it ends exactly on your 39th birthday. I feel like there's a baby race. I really feel like it is. Like a lot of people start having might as well babies, you know, during this time. And that doesn't say it's not a blessing, but a lot of people have kids out of fear that they're not going to be able to make any kids. Okay. So I feel like this is one of those cases. It's one of those cases that, you know, she's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to have a kid out. Just do it. But, it was nice that they highlighted that, especially with Planned Parenthood, like highlighting that, you know, New York is the only state that, because she's 12 weeks, she's still able to, make certain choices that might not be agreed upon to other states, right? So basically I like the fact that they highlighted that, and like with Angie saying, oh, you know, I don't want to have kids off it, which is true, because like most of, like when I look at most actresses who are big, all of them have their kids in their 30s. All of them. Even the models, the supermodels are worse. I wouldn't say worse, but the supermodels are notorious for having kids in their 30s. Notorious. Like I can think of maybe 2 or 3 supermodels who have their kids in their 20s, but most of them are in their 30s, because like with show business, unfortunately, ageism, especially for women, you have until your 26th birthday before they start getting irritated with you. All right, like unless you're a legend, unless you're a legend. But most of them, like there's a certain age range that you can only like get hot at, and kids will deter that. So you guys let me know what you think. Definitely hang out. Look at my other videos. And I will see you next Monday for another episode of discussing Harlem. We'll see if they release 3 and 4, but if they do, you know where to check me out. So don't forget to subscribe, share. Let's go.